comes a moment in life when the roles between parents and kids start to shift. For decades, you've poured your heart into raising them, guiding them, sacrificing for them. Then one day, something changes. Maybe they brush off your advice, shrug at your opinions, or speak to you in a way that stings, maybe even making you feel like a burden. It hurts deeply if your grown children are treating you with less respect than you deserve. You might feel frustrated, even angry, tempted to remind them of all you've done, the years you put them first. But here's the truth. Lashing out won't fix it. It often makes things worse. There's a better way to reclaim their respect, without fights, arguments, or bitterness. Today I'm sharing 6 powerful steps you can take when your kids don't show the respect you've earned. These are simple yet transformative shifts in how you respond when you combine with him to reshaping how they see you. Some might surprise you, but stick with me to the end. You'll discover how to restore your place as a cherished, respected figure in their lives. Let's dive in. When your grown kids brush off your opinions, talk over you, or show disrespect, your first instinct might be to argue, remind them of all you've done, demand they listen. But let me share a truth that'll save you years of heartache. Arguing doesn't work. Think about it. When was the last time a shouting match won you someone's respect? Respect isn't gained through words. It's earned through your presence, the way you carry yourself, and how you respond when tested. If you meet disrespect with anger, you're just proving they've got the upper hand. For someone like 75-year-old Walter Green, a retired school principal who once commanded a classroom with confidence, this hit home hard. At family gatherings, his adult kids started treating him like an afterthought, ignoring his advice, dismissing his concerns, even chuckling when he tried to set them straight. At first, Walter pushed back, arguing to prove he still deserved their respect. But the more he fought, the worse it got. Then Walter made a shift. Instead of bickering, he started listening. He stopped chasing respect with words and began carrying himself like someone who already had it. He spoke calmly, with wisdom, without needing to win. Slowly, his kids noticed. They saw a man who didn't beg for their approval, who didn't need to prove his worth, a steady figure of strength. If your kids aren't respecting you, don't battle for it. Show them what respect looks like through how you treat yourself. Hold your dignity, speak with quiet confidence, and never stoop to their level. When you stand your ground with grace, they'll follow. And over time, they'll follow your lead. One of the biggest traps parents fall into, especially as they age, is bending over backward to please their grown kids. Maybe you've caught yourself doing it. Like 73-year-old Clara Thompson. Going out of your way to accommodate them, saying yes when you mean no, or putting their needs above your own, all in hopes that if you do enough, they'll value you more. But here's the tough truth. The harder you chase their approval, the less they respect you. Respect isn't won by sacrificing yourself. It's earned through standing tall in your own worth. When you're always yielding, always compromising, always keeping the peace, you're teaching them that your feelings come second. Once they buy into that, taking you for granted becomes all too easy. Take Clara, a vibrant, self-reliant woman in her younger days. But as she got older, she started letting her kids call all the shots. She reshuffled her schedule to fit their demands, bit her tongue when they spoke down to her, and ignored their dismissive tone. "I just want to keep the family close," she told me once. But what happened? Her kids stopped valuing her. They saw her as someone who'd always bend, always agree, always stay. Clara thought she was preserving harmony, but she was losing her voice. If your kids aren't showing you the respect you deserve, the first step isn't to demand it, it's to stop acting like you need their validation. Set clear boundaries. Say no when it's right for you, and speak your truth, even if they don't love hearing it. And in time, that respect will come flowing back. One of the toughest lessons as you age is realizing you can't lean on your kids for emotional fulfillment. You love them fiercely, like 74-year-old Ruth Harper, and crave their love and respect in return. But the moment they sense you need them to feel valued, the balance of power shifts. Here's the reality. People, even your own children, respect those who stand emotionally independent. When you rely on them for validation, affection, or attention, it creates pressure. Instead of feeling grateful, they might feel weighed down, pulling back, acting impatient, or even snappy. The more you chase their love, the less freely they offer it. Ruth, a warm cardinal mom who gave her all to her kids, learned this the hard way. As her children grew busy with their own lives, she found herself glued to the phone, hoping for their calls. When they didn't ring, she'd call them too often, pouring out how much she missed them, how she wished they'd visit more. But instead of drawing them closer, it pushed them away. They started seeing her calls as a chore, not a joy. And then Ruth made a bold change. She stopped waiting. She stopped dialing first. Instead, she turned her focus inward, picking up painting, reconnecting with friends, nurturing her own happiness. Something amazing happened. Her kids started reaching out more. They respected her time, seeing her as a woman with a vibrant life of her own, not just your mom on standby. The lesson is clear. The less you depend on your kids to feel needed, the more they'll cherish your presence. When you show them you can stand strong on your own, they'll respect you, not out of duty, but because they genuinely admire the rich life you've built. One of the biggest reasons grown kids lose respect for their parents is simple. Parents let it happen. If you allow your children to speak to you disrespectfully, brush off your opinions, or act like your time and feelings don't matter, they'll keep doing it, not because they're cruel, but because people, especially family, will treat you the way you permit. For someone like 76, Grove Northwind, Carter, this truth became clear. Setting boundaries doesn't mean cutting off your kids or stirring up drama. It's about calmly and firmly deciding what behavior you'll accept and what you won't, and then standing by those limits when they're tested. Evelyn, a retired bank manager who once ran her workplace with poise and authority, struggled with her adult children. They'd interrupt her mid-crush oil choices. At first, she let it slide, telling herself it wasn't worth a fight. But over time, she realized her silence was teaching them it was okay to treat her that way. So one day, Evelyn changed her approach. When her son cut her off, she said gently but firmly, "I'll finish speaking when you're ready to listen." When her daughter brushed off her opinion, she replied, "You do your song, I put up with." And when they kept pushing her boundaries, she made it clear. If they couldn't treat her with basic respect, she wouldn't spend time with them. Guess what? They started listening. At first they pushed back, but soon they saw their mom wasn't budging. They recognized she valued herself enough to demand respect, and that shifted how they treated her. If your kids aren't respecting you, ask yourself, are you allowing it? Because if you don't set boundaries, they won't set them for you. And if you don't stand up for yourself, no one else will. Draw your line with kindness but strength, and watch how it changes the way they see you. One of the fastest ways to lose respect is to keep pouring out your heart to those who don't value it. As parents, we do this more than we realize, like 77%. Are you? We give our time, energy, and support, even when it's ignored, taken for granted, or met with entitlement. But here's the hard truth. When you give to someone who doesn't appreciate it, you're not building love or respect, you're creating expectations. They stop seeing your kindness as precious and start treating it like something they're owed. And when you stop, Arthur, a devoted dad, was always generous with his grown kids. He'd dip into his savings to help them out, drop everything to lend a hand, and rearrange his life to fit their needs. But instead of thanks, he got complaints. They didn't say thank you, they asked for more. Worst of all, when Arthur finally needed their support, they were too busy. Then one day, Arthur shifted gears. He stopped overextending himself. He quit offering help before it was asked for. Most importantly, he started saying no when it was right for him. At first, his kids were frustrated. They didn't get why he wasn't bending over backward anymore. But over time, something changed. They began to value his time, to appreciate his efforts, because they realized his generosity wasn't endless. It was a gift, not a given. If you feel your kids don't respect your time, effort, or kindness, take a step back. Ask yourself, are you giving more than you should? What would happen if you paused? When you show them your generosity hinges on respect, they'll start treating it like the treasure it is. One of the most powerful ways to earn back your children's respect is to show them your happiness doesn't revolve around them. As parents, it's nicest to make our kids the center of our world, like 78-year-old Louise Carter did for decades. But as we age, that dynamic shifts. If you've spent your life prioritizing them, they might start seeing you as someone with little else going on, and that can dim their respect. People admire those with their own purpose, passions, and sense of fulfillment. If your kids sense you lean on them for entertainment, validation, or meaning, they may feel smothered or worse, view you as someone without a life of your own. Louise, a widow in her late 70s, learned this after her husband passed. She poured everything into her kids' lives, constantly checking in, offering unsolicited advice, hoping they'd fill the void left behind. But instead of drawing them closer, it pushed them away. Visits grew rare, calls became brief, and Louise felt lonelier than ever. Then she made a bold choice. She joined a gardening club, traveled with friends, and volunteered at a local food bank. She stopped making her kids the axis of her world. Something incredible happened. Her children started reaching out more. They were curious about her adventures, admired her independence, and respected her in a new way. If your kids aren't showing you respect, ask yourself, do they see you as a person with a full, meaningful life, or as someone waiting for their attention? When you show them you're truly living, not just existing, they'll start seeing you in a whole new light, with the admiration and respect you deserve. When your grown children treat you with disrespect, ignoring your input, or speaking in a way that stings, it's tempting to bottle up your hurt or snap back in frustration. But for someone like 72-year-old Harold Jensen, calmly sharing how their behavior makes you feel can be a game changer. Expressing your emotions with clarity and composure doesn't just air your grievances, it shows your strength and invites them to see you as a person. With validly offering up, who takes it all in stride. The key is to avoid blame or anger, which can spark defensiveness. Instead, use I statements to focus on your experience. Like, I feel hurt when my opinions are dismissed. This approach opens a door to understanding without putting them on the spot. Done right, it can shift how they view their actions and encourage respect. Like Harold, a retired mechanic who prided himself on his close bond with his kids. But as they grew older, they started cutting him off mid-conversation or rolling their eyes at his advice. At first, he stayed quiet, not wanting to rock the boat. But the hurt piled up and he felt invisible. One day, he tried something new. During a family dinner, when his son brushed off his input, Harold said calmly, I feel like my thoughts don't matter when you interrupt me. And that's tough for me. His son paused, surprised, and apologized. Over time, Harold's kids began listening more, realizing their dad's feelings deserve respect. If your kids are disrespecting you, don't let the hurt fester. Speak up, not with accusations, but with quiet strength. Share how their actions affect you and show them you value yourself enough to be heard. This simple act of honest, calm communication can rebuild respect, showing them you're not just a parent, but a person worthy of care and consideration. Respect is a two-way street, and one of the most effective ways to earn it from your grown children is to model it yourself. For someone like 79-year-old Agnes Harper, treating her kids with the same dignity and consideration she seeks can shift their behavior. When you show genuine respect, listening to their views, valuing their choices, and speaking kindly even in disagreement, you set a powerful example. This doesn't mean ignoring their disrespect, but showing them how healthy, respectful interactions look, inviting them to mirror it back. The trap many parents fall into is reacting to rudeness with frustration or sarcasm, which can escalate tension and reinforce bad patterns. Instead, responding with patience and respect, even when it's hard, transforms your strength and sets a standard for how you expect to be treated. Over time, this can nudge them toward reciprocity. Agnes, a retired librarian, noticed her adult kids often spoke curtly or dismissed her concerns. She used to snap back, hurt by their tone, but it only led to arguments. Then she tried a new approach. When her daughter brushed off a suggestion, Agnes listened attentively to her perspective, then responded warmly, I hear you, and I'd love for us to share ideas respectfully. Her calm, respectful demeanor caught her daughter off guard. Slowly, her kids began softening their tone, mirroring the respect Agnes showed. They saw her not just as their mom, but as someone who modeled dignity worth emulating. If your kids aren't respecting you, reflect on how you engage with them. Show them what mutual respect looks like by listening, speaking kindly, and valuing their individuality. By setting this example, you're not just asking for respect, you're teaching it, and that lesson can transform how they treat you in return. Respect isn't something you can demand from your grown children. It's something you inspire through how you carry yourself, set boundaries, and live your life. If they're treating you with less care or respect than you deserve, like dismissing 74-year-old Ruth's advice or interrupting 76-year-old Ruth's advice, don't waste energy on anger. Shift your approach instead. Stop chasing their approval. Your independence earns their regard. Lead with dignity, not arguments. Step back from emotional dependence to stand stronger. Set firm boundaries, demand mutual respect, and stop giving when it's unappreciated. Build a vibrant life beyond them, full of purpose and joy. Communicate calmly as Harold did and model respect, like Agnes. These 8 actions can work wonders. Your kids will start seeing you not as someone waiting for their attention, but as a person who commands respect. Just by being, over time, that respect will return, not because you demanded it, but because you've earned it. Inspire respect by living with dignity, setting boundaries, and embracing your own purpose. Small shifts can transform how your kids see you. We'd love to hear from you. Which action resonated most with you or someone like Ruth or Evelyn? Maybe you'll try setting a boundary or picking up a new hobby. Share your story or plan in the comments below. Your experiences spark inspiration for others. If this video hit home, give it a thumbs up, share it with others, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more empowering insights. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in the next one.